So this is how our agenda looks like. We'll have some opening notes from Eric and Conrad, and then protocol updates from Bowen and Firad, and then some eco infra working group updates I can share, followed by thematic updates. We have 4 partners today, Mintbase, NEARBlocks here, and Lava Network presenting their updates. And then we'll have our regular feedback and discussions for inputs, and then NPS survey at the end of the call. So I'll hand it over to Eric and Conrad to share some updates at a high level from Pagoda and NF side. Over to you, Eric.
Sure. Hey, everybody. If we haven't met, I'm Eric Weiner. I'm the CTO of Pagoda. Just want to share a couple quick notes on things that we've been working on. This is just like early access. No need to take action right now. We're going to follow up with more formal, specific details in the next month or so. I want to make sure that this group is aware of what's going on. So we've been operating rpc.mainnet.near.org as a free resource for a while now. As a lot of you know, there's a few problems with that approach. So there's no service level guarantees. So everybody starts using it, and then when a project hits viral success, then they're going to also start hitting some RPC issues and not be sure about what kind of performance they're going to get out of it. And then kind of because there's a good enough free service out there already that we're providing, that kind of crowds out other RPC providers from the marketplace. So we've got Lava here. This is great, but like some of the more centralized RPC providers have actually exited their have deprecated their near usage because everybody just goes and uses our free service. And those services can also provide more features, better scaling, better analytics for users, and we do want them to succeed. So at some point this year, what we're going to do is add a rate limit to our free RPC service. So there's going to be more details in blog posts and Telegram, plenty of notice before that happens. Pagoda might end up offering a paid RPC service on top of that, sort of at that same URL, or we might choose some other options. Again, we'll figure this out as time goes on, but we do want to make sure that that all the RPC traffic on Near isn't all just running through Pagoda. It's not healthy for the ecosystem, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced. Second thing, if you've been following along on the Near blogs and on Twitter, you know that we've been talking a lot about chain abstraction. Really cool stuff we're doing here. One of the most exciting things in chain abstraction is that we're working on is the ability for a Near account to sign a transaction on other blockchains. So you don't have to juggle a bunch of wallets across a bunch of chains. You just need your one Near wallet, and you're good to go to make Bitcoin transactions, Ethereum transactions, what have you. Can open up a lot of DeFi opportunities. Can really divorce the user from having to juggle all the wallets behind the scenes. So we're working on this. The first cut of this feature is really just going to work with the fast off system that Pagoda has already developed. So we're sort of building that in. But soon after that, we want to make sure that it works with any Near wallet. It's all just built out of a new protocol feature and a few special smart contract function calls. So there's not like there's no breaking changes that wallets have to make in order for this to work. But if a user wants to hit sign a Bitcoin transaction, that's going to send a request over to the wallet. It would probably be really good if that wallet can decode and display the Bitcoin transaction so the user can review it instead of just looking at a bunch of hex. So again, we're super early on this. There's not a spec yet. We'll be working on that over the course of the next month or two, send that out, get some feedback on it, see how it all plays out. But I want to let you guys know that Near is becoming a multi-chain, the core of a multi-chain ecosystem, and so we'll want to make sure that that's well supported throughout the wallets and the indexers and everything we need for that to work. All right, that's all I had to say for today. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Conrad, up to you. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Vikas. So, Vic, you can still share the PowerPoint, and if you can put on the slide view mode, this would be helpful because I see some comments on the chat that people can't see the slides properly. So a couple of updates on the Near Foundation side. So as you know, since Ilias, our founder's comeback as a CEO, we've been focusing a lot on empowering the ecosystem. So one of the purpose of this call is really to listen to the feedback. So feel free to share any comments, any questions in the chat, or ask the presenters that we will have. We have a really interesting guest that decided to join us to give updates on the products that they're building, on the solutions that aim to improve the state of our infrastructure. So let's dive into the first topic.
Yes. So we have updates from Bowen, like core protocol updates, and also some improvements from Firat. So I'll give it over to you, Bowen.
Hey everyone, Bowen, head of protocol, and today I want to give updates on the upcoming releases, especially regarding stateless validation. So as you probably know, we have been working on this multi-year roadmap to transition NEAR into a fully sharded blockchain, and currently we're finalizing the steps for phase 2 of sharding, which is arguably the most exciting part, where the entire transaction processing and state would be fully sharded. And for that, we're using the stateless validation approach, which would also dramatically improve the performance of every single shard. So that is expected to launch in May on mainnet. And currently we're running Stake Wars. So for those who don't know, Stake Wars is, or has historically been incentivized testnet program whenever we're launching like a big protocol change. I think usually it's about sharding. We would do this incentivized testnet program for people to join and test the implementation. Right now we're doing Stake Wars 4, the tag of transactions. And the goal of the program is for mostly for participants to send lots of transactions on the testing network that we spun up, and see how the network performs, and help us find bugs or any unknown issues. So that's kind of the overarching idea. And the program has already started, actually started last week, and it will run until the end of March for basically a duration of 2 months. And it's divided into 2 stages. In the first stage, which is February, so most of that would actually be focused on people coming in and playing with the network, and finding issues and reporting the issues you find to us, like bug reports. And then starting from March, it will become, hopefully at that point, the changes will become more stable, and we don't need to reset the network very often. So we will have people sending transactions, maybe tons of them, and also external validators joining the network to operate as validators, to kind of test from the validator perspective how it is going. So yeah, if you're interested, Vic already posted a link in the chat, and also we have a Telegram channel for that as well. So yeah, that's the update from me. Thanks.
Thanks, Bowen. Yeah, over to you, Firat.
Yeah, I have a very small update. Hey guys, my name is Firat. I'm from also Pagoda. So lately we've been working with Ledger, because there was a very requested feature that was regarding blindsiding. Because of the recent news from Ledger, we had to hold that discussion. But what we're working now with DevHub is going from another route that would allow us to do stream signing. For that, we've been working with DevHub so that we can provide a Rust implementation for the Ledger SDK, for the Ledger app. And that is more or less finalizing. We're going to go through audits, and that should be available. That's one. The other thing that Gotham, who is here, also has been working on is looking for possible revenue streams for wallets on the ecosystem. There's been work that has been going on with the wallet teams. Some of them are probably already here. Thanks, Gautam, for that. That's going to be, I think, published soon, as far as I know. And other than that, there's been a lot of new exciting launches on the ecosystem, which kind of stress tested our RPC. So we're working with the internal teams at Pagoda to see how we can improve the RPCs going forward. And that's pretty much the updates that I was going to give. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Virad. Yeah, before we dive into the thematic updates, I want to give some progress updates on the Eco Infra Working Group, the same group where NF, Virad, and some of our partners in this call work together. So we've been working closely with DevHub, as some of you know that we have DevHub that takes care of tooling and infrastructure support. So in terms of funding new initiatives, which is specific to one theme, whether it is wallets, indexers, explorers, among others, or is it or if it is about building some public good on the infrastructure side, we are going to leverage the support of DevHub, but also their process where you can fill these applications in a very open and transparent way on the DevHub page on near.org, the boss page, and then it will go through the DevHub workflow. That's an update, and we have started sharing the links with some of our partners already. Another very important aspect is the RPC aspect that everybody's been talking about since morning. We are working with Lava, but also some of the other partners to also bring more telemetry closer to the users so that we can, go to a online tool where you can see how is a certain aspect of the RPC functioning in terms of performance, in terms of memory, or in terms of uptime, among others. And we'll see some more details about it during the call with Ethan today. And at the same time, we're also working on improving our visibility across CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and a couple of other DEX tooling ecosystem. So yeah, that's the update from my side. We have 4 partners and their updates today. I think we'll start with Paul first on the templates that Mintbase team has built. Paul, do you have something to share on your slide?
Yeah, I do. All right. Hopefully everyone can see this okay. So basically, we'll keep this super short. Goal of this call today is to explain a little bit about templates, but more importantly, why everyone here is highly encouraged to submit their own template to Mintbase's templates page, right? So how did templates come about? So for us, templates is all about ecosystem coordination. So in running the Mintbase grants program, which is really highly focused on NFT infra, but encapsulates a lot of infra that's not NFT specific, we found a couple of things. One, it's not easy for developers to build on Near, and participating in a lot of hackathons over the last, 3 years, we've seen new devs struggle. It's hard to understand what exists. So if you have a project you want to build, we see so many grant applicants reinventing the wheel time and time again when stuff that they could leverage is already built. And then there's a question of you've got some really talented devs who come in and they want to make money or get hired and they can't find a place in the ecosystem, so they leave. So we're trying to, with the program, build really core NFT infra that every project can use. Eventually, it's super easy for devs, Web2 companies come in, but that keeps, people around and engaged. So part of that is we recognized while we had a lot of good grant submissions in year 1, people weren't using everything that was built. So we needed a portal for 1, make sure that the stuff that is getting built is really accessible. And then 2, that anyone else who wants to participate can participate as well. You don't have to get a grant. You could win a hackathon. You could submit, a smaller bounty, but participate by getting open source templates out into the wild that people can use to build their dApps. So starting this year, all of the grantees that are funded, and so far 180,000 of the 600,000 we have allocated for funding this year has been funded. So those projects all understand that is a requirement for their their project, they'll have to submit a template. If people in the ecosystem are like ever like, hey, we have this infra that we really could use to be funded, let us know, and we can give priority to grants that are helping that infra. But templates was basically our solution to align a couple of these variables. So put in really, really basic bones here, but for developers, it'll be a resource for launching their own dApp in minutes, right? Having forkable repos so that they can get up and build something so that they stick around, and then they can, expand on those for their projects. Maybe devs who are a little bit further ahead can submit their own template, right? They may be able to earn like a small bounty for the contribution, or maybe they're just doing it for the love of the community. But either way, when you submit a bounty, it shows you're the author of the project. It's referencing your documentation, your product. So it should help with growth as well. And then getting into like that growth aspect, we see a lot of value here in templates leveraging multiple different projects for the template. So one of the grantees that we've just approved is going to be building like ZK functionality for NFTs through Aurora. So the template that they're going to submit will be sort of a NFT Aurora integration, which is really neat. And we'd like to see more projects having templates so that devs can come and more easily access, building on top of Aurora, on top of Pikes Peak, things like that. And then, of course, one of the things longer term we're thinking about is, Web2 companies, when someone on the marketing team or CEO is trying to build ideas around this stuff, they're not looking at the tech as much, they're looking at functionality. So having all of these templates have, a workable product that someone can poke around in and be like, ooh, this is cool, we should do something like this, that they can then point their dev team to go and explore and be like, hey, does this work? Is facilitating that flow. So the more templates we have in one place that showcase the technical capability of the whole Near ecosystem orchestrated will really help this stuff. So that's as far as I got with slides. And just to showcase templates as a product, it's really bare bones now, but the goal is to keep it pretty and easy to use. So for example, a dev comes in, we're pointing really new developers to this template for them to start their very first Web3 product, right? And with this, in a couple of minutes, you've got a wallet up and running. But for more experienced devs, maybe they want to do something with AI, maybe they want to, have their own marketplace, whatever else. There's a bunch of functionality in here for them to combine, right? Maybe they want to have a marketplace and a minter, right? Then you're combining templates. But all this stuff is very usable. So again, like the goal we have for this is drive developer engagement with Near, drive Web2 sales, and drive coordination from projects in the ecosystem are submitting templates, combining with other projects to do more, right? So that we're not standalone entities, but comprehensive product feature sets incorporated within one another. So that is my shortest possible explanation, if people have questions.
Great. Thanks, Paul. We'll have a Q&A at the end. So please reserve your time for that. I'll now like to invite Peter from here.
Hi.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any slides to share. We have really intense work right now. I will briefly share what we are working on. So we are working on to solve the main problem of Near with the users count. We have created a mass adoption version of the wallet to be distributed in Telegram. This is a fully on-chain, non-custodial wallet, which work in a Telegram web apps, which keeps secret seed phrase inside your phone of each users, and which is super easy to start use. So we have launched it on Wednesday. Now we have more than 700,000 people who installed this wallet, and we keep growing about like 150,000 new users every day. to use with mobile wallet. Now we are mainly focusing on to fix some overloads and to scale the infrastructure. We're pretty excited what we can do with these users to onboard them into the NEAR ecosystem. We have more than 60,000 of these people who deposited 1+ NEAR on their balance to pass some missions, and which these users will able to explore the ecosystem. So now we're working on SDK, so other application would be able to create apps inside your Telegram wallet. So you will able to, it will be launched in the next 2-3 weeks. It will be an SDK which you can use to create your own application. For example, like interface for swaps or interface for NFTs, which will be like call our API. So users will be able to sign this real on-chain transaction inside Telegram wallet. Our goal is to educate these users to onboard them into what's cryptocurrencies, how it's work. And also we do hot token launch, which will be able to spend to cover gas fee to use any application. So our roadmap for the next couple of weeks is we're going to launch Villages, which is really big step to onboard huge influencers and community. We're going to start grow. Now we mostly grow in Eastern Europe, and we have a couple like special countries like Indonesia, Nigeria. We still will expect a higher user growth in Latin America, in India, in a couple of countries where we are not like popular right now, and we have a lot of potential there. And I will happy to share our SDK progress as it will done. So application which support suggested by NEAR Foundation will be able to create the application and explore and distribute it to hundreds of thousands users in one day just after approve. This will be inside every phone around these users. Yep, that's briefly what we was working on for the last 6 days.
Great. Thanks, Peter. I'm sure people have questions and queries. We'll keep it for the end. So next in the queue is Lava Network. Ethan, do you mind taking over?
Yes, I'll be standing in for Ethan today. I'm the DevRel Kagemni.
Yes.
All right, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, please let me know, can you see my slides here?
Yes, everything's good.
All right, so hello everybody. As I said, I'm the developer relations engineer, Kagemni Karimu, representing Lava here on the call. You know, Lava is charged with supplying, we're calling it a data access layer for NEAR. I know we're speaking in terms of RPC primarily, but we of course like to look at it from the expanded perspective of multiple different APIs being accessible to NEAR developers. How it works at a large level, let's say Lava in general, if for those who are less familiar, is that Lava is a modular network of node providers that dynamically adds, serves, and scales APIs on any chain. We say modular network because anyone can add these different APIs. We use a spec system that's essentially a series of JSON files that can be submitted on chain and add new functionality. So there's extensions, there's add-ons. I really encourage you all to learn, if you have time, a little bit about our spec system, because even within the NEAR ecosystem, more functionality can easily be added by developers and interested parties. Lava basically has a constant availability, which is, it's fully peer-to-peer. There's not really a single point of failure. So even if the chain halts, developers and their providers can still connect. And then there's also data consistency, which is that the responses are cross-referenced between providers and frauds and resolved on chain to disincentivize bad actors. And then it's optimized for speed, where requests are routed to the fastest node providers. It's based primarily on geolocation and also on reputational quality of service scoring. And there's modular flexibility, which is what I was mentioning before, that anyone can permissionlessly add new modules to Lava, so the network can serve any of the in-demand APIs or chains, but given the ecosystem APIs, And so Lava intends to be one-stop shop. We've already partnered with a number of different ecosystems to provide our incentivized public RPC, which is what we're doing for NEAR. We've done it with Axlar, we've done it with Evmos, and seen very good successes. And now we're underway with NEAR. So in the state of public RPC today is something that we can discuss. Typically we see fragmented endpoints with no clear standard for performance. A developer or app goes in search of an endpoint, finds an endpoint, maybe doesn't know much about the provider, requests the data, assumes the data is genuine, honest, up-to-date, fresh. And if they find some sort of unsatisfactory experience with that endpoint, they switch to a different provider via a different public endpoint. By contrast, what we do with incentivized public RPC is we unify the endpoints in the ecosystem. So there's a unified endpoint, near.lava.build. There's also one for the testnet. And let's say an app that's located in Europe submits a request to the Lava network through this endpoint. It will be intelligently routed to the fastest, meaning lowest latency, as well as closest provider who can return the response. And so this is all done behind the scenes by the Lava protocol. It gives developers a unified endpoint with automatic fallbacks and optimized performance. So we're not, another way to think of this is that incentivized public RPC does not compete with the existing RPC in the ecosystem. It unifies it and aggregates it. And that's the idea. One endpoint to rule them all. Hyper-resilient, Lava aggregates all the public RPC endpoints. Scalable, traffic grows, more providers join. Always free to all the developers in the ecosystem. So as far as near IPRPC goes, near IPRPC is functional. We actually had our big launch yesterday. You can go ahead and try with a sample call to mainnet right here, or sample call to testnet. I did want to actually do these on call, but for the sake of time, I may skip this. I'll do one of them real quick. Only take a second.
We have time, so please take your time.
All right. So you all should be able to see a terminal window.
That's right.
All right, great. So what I will do then is I'm going to take this call and put it here. This is to near mainnet. You see it's using the near Lava build endpoint. We're just submitting, and I see that there's an error with my putting in the wrong. There we go. All right, invalid case. Oh, sorry. And boom, there you have it, that fast. It returns a response. So as you can see, JSON RPC 2.0, you see the balance burnt, chunk hashes, all the associated things you would expect with that type of block call. So it's really cool because the endpoints are functional on both mainnet and testnet, as well as, to show another thing, we actually have docs in place that I want to demonstrate real quick. All right, I imagine you can see my screen now with the docs up. So we have near docs in place that include running a near RPC node, and these are based, loosely off the docs that near has. We provide these, but it also gives information to those who want to become providers on the Lava network, who are incentivized to provide how to do it. Here are the config files that come about as a result of this. So we have testnet and mainnet configs. And this is one of the main onboarding documents that we use in addition to our actual onboarding guide. Oops, I'm sorry. Our actual onboarding guide, which is available right from our homepage. You can see right here, near incentivized public RPC. Developers get all endpoints rolled into one. Node operators get paid by near to serve RPC. And you got the two different endpoints, as well as link to our run a node guide and explanation of how to start, basically join Lava and how to provide on Lava. So actually in our current status, we are keeping stats. We just launched, as I said, yesterday, and we've already got 3 million relays, which equates to about 29 million consumed CUs or compute units on our network, and that is across 36 different active providers. We had over 100 providers sign up. They're in the process of onboarding. So we are expecting a lot more providers in the coming week or 2 weeks. But we're currently also talking to various dApps in the ecosystem who have been testing ahead of, which you may see on this chart. There were a lot of relays performed before yesterday, but some dApps are using the IPRPC service, and they're very pleased with it. So we're very happy to hear that. I think we're in conversation with ShardDog, Ref Finance, and maybe 2 other dApps in Near that are really, as well as a few others in the early stages. So they are using Lava IPRPC endpoint to success. So this redash, by the way, this redashboard is you're able to see, who the providers are on the network, what type of latency, sync availability, the amount of CUs that are being consumed, and even where the geolocation of the providers are. So there's visibility on the network as far as how RPC is functioning and how data is being served. That's our current update. Like I said, we're working with additional dApps, getting them together, and then we're also onboarding additional providers. So in short term, we should have a lot more providers serving Near IPRPC. We look forward to a lot more relays.
Great. Thanks so much. I shared all the links as well on the chat. If somebody wants to try, or if they want to reach out, you can reach out to Lava directly or app me and I can put you in touch with the Lava team. Last but of course not the least, we have Luke from NEARBlocks to share updates on what's the current state of Explorers and the new improvements.
Okay, Vic, it's actually Andrew. I'm here.
Ah, Andrew.
Let me just share my screen and this. Give me 1 sec. All right. Can you guys see?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So from NEARBlocks, a couple of things that we've been focusing on is what we call our version 3, which the main focus really has been on us making sure that we do have a higher availability and reliability on our service. So the current progress is we are hoping to have this ready and launched in the coming few days, but there has been some delays on our side, and the past few days or past few weeks, we've been focusing on fixing performance. So if you probably do notice that our current NEARBlocks, we do have some performance issues on accounts with a lot of large transactions. The holder counts on tokens is not real time, and there have been a few people asking us about that being real time, and that is going to be real time on our version 3. API requests will also be allowed to be beyond 5,000 results, and we'll start to be having things like fungible tokens, time series balance. So these are some of the things that are expected to be available coming very soon, and you'll be able to see that on our new NEARBlocks on Boss, which we have put live now at beta.nearblocks.io. So beta.nearblocks.io is running a Boss gateway, and everything there in terms of components is fully deployed on Boss. So if I go through all of our components, you can actually run them yourselves and mount them yourself. Yeah, I've got a few examples here, like the overview one, the latest blocks. We have the props, so if you want to put in the network, if you want to do translations, you can pass that in. I'm not sure if anyone will use this, but I think it's an option, and that's something that you do get from having this on Boss. So we do have transactions, blocks, block details, transaction details, and go through all of them. But I think this is the main focus that we've been doing on now. So we will have this coming out very soon, and we do welcome some feedback if anyone wants to think about using these, or if there is any value for someone to mount our components in their dApps. These are also options available. I think that's all that we do have for now. Mainly all the way down to account transactions, and we do have the validator explorer, fungible tokens, and everything else.
Great, thanks, Andrew. So that brings us to the end of all the demos and updates we had. I'll open the floor for any questions, queries, and feedback. So if you have any questions for any of the presentations, please feel free to reach out to the respective partner, or any open questions. So this is our time. We have 10 minutes to take Q&A. Yes, Oleg, please go ahead.
Hi, Andrew. Thank you very much for great presentation. I wanted to praise you guys. Of late, NEARBlocks has been improving leaps and bounds and really quickly. There's one thing that periodically my team raises with regards to NEARBlocks is when there is a new version of Rust released, NEARBlocks seems to struggle to deal with those contracts, and they sometimes have to recompile them with the older versions in order to be able to view them in NEARBlocks. I don't know if there is a way to kind of permanently solve it so that you automatically support when there is a new Rust version is getting released. That would help tremendously our devs.
So we actually use a package from Near Foundation called the Near Contract Parser for reading the contracts. As of now, there was a recent update that was able to support, I think, the latest builds that was being with Rust. I don't have any other information yet in terms of whether that's going to change in terms of future builds, but I believe there is SourceScan as well, who is also working on something along the lines of being able to do those kind of contract method implementations as well.
Just a comment on the site with the release NearSDK 5 stable version. We hope that most of the contracts will be compiled with ABI enabled by default, and we wouldn't need to parse WASM files. Instead, it would be just a read method, view method that tools like explorers would be able to call and receive all the introspection of the methods available and arguments it expects to see. So maybe that would be the solution.
Interesting. What should I pass to our tech team? What should they do when they...
I hope the release of
deploy those
NearSDK
contracts?
will be announced this week, and then you will see it probably.
Awesome, thank you.
Any questions on the ecosystem templates for Paul, for Mintbase?
I expect everyone to be submitting them then.
Yeah. Quick round also for Lava. If you have any questions for Lava, please feel free to ask now.
If I may use a moment, and maybe I can share some preliminary update from DevHub launch.
Yes, please.
That we're baking here. So this is the communities page on DevHub, and we are baking a lot of communities here. And one of the new features that we already which is already live, but we are still putting more content into it, is the announcements. And the cool stuff about announcements is basically the admins can post in there, any of these people who can create, so anybody can create a community, but this specific one, hot ideas, you can go and see the ideas collected here. And the cool stuff is that it's actually just a regular social profile. So you can just go and follow it if you want. You don't need to go regularly checking DevHub to be up to date with this kind of stuff. And I hope to turn it into more live feed. So for example, if we go to communities, tooling, we already see some of the updates with near lake torrents and nearly, and some of the cool stuff that the community is sharing about updates on the tooling side for near. I just wanted to share that it's well, it's coming, and also it's already live, actually, the announcement feature. The other feature that we are launching right now is the discussions, so anybody can actually also post, but it would be a separate tab here, and it would be more live over like a group. So treat it as the, I don't know, a community for announcements, where we have announcements as separate high traffic thing or low traffic thing, and discussions high traffic thing. And then the proposals will be completely redesigned, revamped also in the upcoming weeks. Just wanted to share. That's all from my side.
Great. Yeah, looks great. Vlad, thank you so much. Yeah, that brings us to the end of today's discussions and showcase. If you have any questions, please feel free to share with us directly in the group or through our partners. I would like to share this feedback survey that we had. I shared it in the chat as well. Or if you want, you can also scan it from here. I'll give everyone 10-15 seconds to pull up their phone, scan, and maybe give feedback, or please copy the link that I shared in the chat and give your feedback.
Vikas, very quick question. If I want to invite a couple of people from our tech team, what's the best way to do it?
Please send out their email addresses either to Conrad or to me, and we'll invite them for the call. And if they want to present something, we'll also help them prepare the topics, the timing, and everything around it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, everyone, then. Have a nice day ahead. Appreciate your participation today. We'll come back again soon next month.